I just bought a brand new 2023 Honda Civic Type R. Okay, well maybe it's not brand new. There's a few things that all car enthusiasts can agree on. Burn down all squatted trucks, don't buy cars from Pennsylvania, and the Honda Civic Type R is a good car.
I've got to say, I absolutely love this car.
I could get behind this car.
It's brilliant.
Perfection.
The only thing that the real racers complain about is it's still a front-wheel drive car. It is not a rear-wheel drive drift.
So I obviously have a traction disadvantage. Front-wheel drive.
Sure, it's front-wheel drive, but that's really the only thing that people have to complain about this car. But once they actually drive it, they all seem to forget because it's such a good car. That is, of course, except for the price.
If you pay $5,000 markup, I would call that a win.
If you paid anything under 10K on markup, I think you got a great deal with this car.
A lot of the dealerships have a 20K, 15K markup right now.
$82,000. $82,000.
They're driving it around, putting 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers on the car, then listing it as used, and then putting the price to $80,000, $90,000.
These cars are supposed to be $45,000, not $60,000. Nobody wants to pay $60,000 for a Honda Civic. Even a year later, they're still hard to find without a markup. You can find them used for about $50,000. They really hold their value because they're really good cars. But I'm not gonna pay that amount for a Honda Civic. Even if it is one of the best cars that you can get, it's just out of my price range. I legitimately can't afford it, which is why I bought this. This I can afford. Thanks to our partnership with Continental Tire, we'll see if we can get it rolling again. Thank you to Continental Tire for sponsoring this series of what may very well be my favorite car of all time. I run Continental Tire on most of my cars, whether it's for street driving or track driving. And we have some big plans for this Civic Type R. We're going to be using the Continental Extreme Contact Sport 02 for our street driving, and it's also the ultimate rain tire. We're going to be running a second set of tires, the 200 Treadwear Extreme Contact Force. These tires are actually made by Hoosier. I am so excited to get started on this project so I can put these tires to use. Click the link in the description below to get yourself a set of these Continental tires for yourself. Last year at a Grid Life event, this car wrecked into a wall at NJMP. To be fair, this happens a lot at NJMP at that particular corner. We actually got a shot of a Honda Fit wrecking at the same exact spot moments before this Type R wrecked there. Ooh. I've had my fair share of sliding moments on that corner as well. It's a tricky corner. I also know that wrecking into a tire wall is probably the best way to wreck your car into a wall, if you're gonna wreck your car into a wall, because the tires absorb a lot of the impact, so it makes the damage look really bad, but it's actually not that bad. It's mostly superficial and not structural.
How do you know, Ben? Have you wrecked into a tire wall?
I got this car for a really good deal. Talked with the owner at the time that it happened, and he, worked out a deal with his insurance and everything, and they did officially total the car, so it is a salvaged car. Took about 6 months to actually get everything kind of ironed out and figured out, but got a really good deal on the car, so I can actually have an opportunity to own one. We just have to fix it. So now let's get it over to the lift, take a look underneath, and see what things look like. These are all of the warning lights that the Type R now suffers from. And it's amazing that despite all of these, it still runs and drives. I'd probably fit in really well at a Volkswagen meetup. But this is a Honda. We demand nothing but perfection. I want this car to be my daily driver. So before anything else, we need to get this car on the lift and check everything over mechanically to know what we're dealing with. Oh, whoops.
I'm touching the side skirt. There's nothing I can do about it, sorry.
Although the car did only hit a tire barrier, it hit pretty hard, and there's no telling what damage there may be, so we have to check every nook and cranny.
Dang, that's why we got all these warning lights on the dash.
Well, this is one warning light. We still got a few more we gotta figure out. Most importantly, if you come on underneath the car, this pinch weld, perfectly straight, pin straight, rocker panel, untouched. The side skirt obviously was touched, but it just pulled out of the rocker panel, and the rocker panel is, there's literally no bends anywhere in this. The only bend is right here. Do you see this right here in the intercooler? Now, it doesn't look like it's punctured all the way through. We probably just have to replace the whole thing with a PWR intercooler.
PWR, are you kidding me with the quality of this product?
I mean,
that'd be a good idea.
Just for safety, we should upgrade it to a PWR. Yeah. Oh, there's another dent right back here, so I mean, she's toast. I might be able to fix this right now. There we go. There we go, I fixed it. It's no longer a Type R, because this is where it would normally say Type R. So
what does the R stand for?
How would people know that it's a race car? Everybody knows the Type R stands for Type Race Car.
This R actually stands for something, and what it stands for is racing. This thing is made for racing.
It's an aluminum subframe. Hope that didn't crack.
It's a little bent.
I think the tire is what's loping more than the wheel is. Here, the trailing arm, I can see it wiggle. How do we know if that's straight or not? We need a straight edge, but it's not even a straight stamped piece.
I don't know what's going on with this back here, but it's definitely off.
The front mark is toe in by an extreme amount, but it's at least 1 inch toe in on the front. I think we can align this back. If anything bent, it might be the outer tie rod on this side here.
Hey Ben, does this look like movement happened? I'm measuring from the trailing arm to the tire.
That would remain constant. I think it's fine back here. I think it looks toe in because the front is toe out, but the subframe's okay, right? Looks okay.
I mean, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah. The diffuser, the factory OEM diffuser. Okay, it's not functioning perfectly on this side. It's crazy how all of this can happen in an instant. You hit the wall in a split second, all of this stuff shifts. Like, it's just crazy to think about.
I kind of want to get started more so on the body panels.
Just want to take panels off?
Yeah, because I'd like to get Steve out here as quick as possible.
Okay.
So that we can get him to measure, see if there's anything wrong with the front end. So we got to take hood, this front panel of what's left of it off.
I think we should remove the fender.
I mean, we might be able to save it.
Pull it back. Here, let's check.
Dude, it's almost perfectly straight.
Just kind of flare it out a little bit. We can fit some wider tires in here. Yeah. There we go. Oh, we don't have hood struts?
No.
What in the 1993 is this? Is this core support bent at all, do you think?
That's why I want to get all this stuff off as soon as possible.
Where is the proper tool for that?
I don't know. It's been lost for some time.
It's kind of odd to work on a car that's already half broken because you don't actually know the sequence of events. It's like, I think the grill was probably supposed to come out first. Oh. Don't break it.
Yeah, right? I don't want to break this.
Oh yeah, it's looking better already. So here's another fun fact about Type R. So the FK8 Type R has some overheating issues on track. So for the FL5, they improved the airflow design through the bumper, which you can tell. Maybe that's also why the front grille is kind of funky and kind of large, because it adds more airflow to the radiator, which the radiator has also been upsized for the FL5. So it's a bigger radiator than the FK8, and we have more airflow coming in through here. Kind of like a little V-mount setup, because the air goes up and through the hood. It's pretty neat.
So yeah, it looks like your housing is cracked just a little bit.
Oh.
It might be savable, but
I don't know, that stinks.
It's...
So this is an airbag sensor. This will detect if there's a collision on the corner, and if there is a collision, it will deploy the airbag. It works. Just gonna go ahead and unplug this, which is a fancy plug because you're not supposed to unplug them because it's an airbag sensor, but... Oh. I didn't unplug it. I ripped it apart. Break the sensor.
You already broke it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Huh? Because the sensor is broken. It's just all coming apart in pieces. That's also supposed to come out. I thought. Maybe that is just how it's supposed to be. That bracket was not meant to bend. It did not want to do that.
This bracket was never meant to bend either. Yeah, we could definitely reuse this.
Definitely. There's no question. Well, it's close to being out. Thank goodness all of these tabs broke. Moment of truth. Be careful not to break this thing. These headlights are expensive. There we go. Ta-da! Oh, buddy. People complain about modern cars and how many electronics and stuff there are. One plug for the whole headlight. Look at that. You see that right there? Hondata. Yes, sir. We have a Hondata ECU, which means we can tune it. Hondata ECU, already one step ahead. We're gonna want that later anyway, so that's awesome. Okay, with the headlight out, we can see the front core support structure a lot better. Clearly not touched. Also, look at how beefy this is. Like, that is insane.
The significance of the accident too. You would think it would be like severely damaged.
Yeah, I mean to total a car, you would think it'd be damaged, but like the worst damage is this is bent a little bit, but I could bend that back with a freaking wrench. Yeah. That's just an outer bracket. Yes, just like that. Problem solved.
Now let it go. Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, you better hold it on your side.
All these bolts come out so easily.
I don't think it's gonna fall.
It's just bending weird on the screw.
Oh.
Got it. She's off. Now that the garnish is off the side, you can see perfectly straight frame rail. I mean, even this is cosmetically, okay, little scratches here. We might want to do some touch up so that doesn't rust, but like, that's straight. We see maybe a little ding there. Let's get this rear door open, see what it looks like up there. But I mean, dude, I think this thing is perfect. Yeah, this rear quarter is the only thing that's gonna be actually bad.
Has this door ever been opened?
I have not ever opened this door. I don't have a door handle to use. This is the spot that we're most concerned
Bonjour.
about. Because like if this isn't square, which it's clearly not, but this.
Hey!
It opens. Now hold on, stay in there.
Wait, you want me to stay? Hey,
Stay.
look, I found some of your grill.
Well, I got some grill in the back seat, huh? Here, stay in there. Let me see if it closes again. Buddy, brand new.
Next on the list of items to inspect are the doors, which require removing them completely.
How heavy is it?
It's pretty heavy. I guess I'm coming out that way.
Okay.
Stop.
Hey, you're scratching the door.
Shut up.
Obviously, taillight's bad. But the fact that there's a crinkle in here has me a little nervous.
Put a little black tape on it, you'll never even know.
Should we remove the next door?
I think we should remove the last and final door.
Last bolt, last bolt. Whoa. Nice. This is gross. This is bad. This is not good. Ta-da! I would venture to say that's my lane keep assist blind spot monitoring sensor.
It looks a little broken.
Hey, it does appear to be broken, yes. The problem is we gotta get this radar sensor to sit at exactly where it wants to be. So we have to get the new bracket, because we can't just bend this back. I mean, it's broken anyway. This spot, which you can see tire tread on, is obviously the only thing that's not bolt on. When you whittle it down, the actual damage to this car is just that.
Exterior damage under control, I sent Mark into the depths of the Civic to tackle the airbag removal.
So we kind of got a plan of attack. I know I can get to these back screws here, got plenty of room. I'm gonna go ahead and take off these to see if I can get a little bit of extra room without taking the headliner off. If I can't, then I'm gonna have to take the whole headliner out. Man, this sucks. I don't know, I'll pull that other one off, see if I can get a little bit more space. We're starting to get some clarity here. Well, lost my flashlight. Let's see, do I have a... Is there a 10 mil back there? Have you seen the 10 mil? I actually do need the 10 mil. Stop filming. Come on. Yay, got it. That was close. Ah. Why is this not coming out? So, coming out the trunk, because I'm trying to keep all the plastics, and except for that one, obviously, keep all the plastics, you know, as new as I can without scratching them. It was a little bit more difficult to just try and get it out the door. We need to take this out because we need to replace, obviously, the airbag. Hopefully we can restitch this. Now I need to start looking at the replacement airbags for all this stuff.
Okay, well, we have reached the part where the car is obviously very stripped down, completely stripped down. We have a good core chassis shell to start with the exception of this spot right here. This is the only thing that is not bolt-on. It's pretty cool that modern cars, you can basically take everything off as a bolt-on, except for, you know, the C-pillars and stuff and the rear quarter. We've got to take a deeper look at this. I have an expert, a buddy that I'm going to call, who's in the industry. He's got a body shop, and we've used him before for a lot of painting stuff. This, I feel like, is a bit more involved. So we're going to call him up, have him come by. He's going to take a look at this and tell us how much trouble we're in, and hopefully it is not very much.
My name is Steve, owner of Choice Collision, and we're here to see how bad the Type R is. If the frame's off, the unibody's good or bad, we're getting ready to find out. I got this side, and let's see if it looks the same as the other side. So we have symmetry that way, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. This pin should be touching right here. But again, we have still brackets and things that are bent. If we have sway, that means this front end here needs to be pulled this way. The next stop is hit the frame machine and probably do a little bit of tugging, and all we're searching for is a 1/2 inch, but a 1/2 inch will make a huge difference.
Thanks again to Continental Tire for sponsoring this series. Click the link in the description below to get yourself a set of tires.